Hi, I'm Jenny Taylor Martin, a director here at Edgar Cayce's A.R.E. Today I'm speaking with Cayce expert and author John Van Auken about his new book, From Karma to Grace. Hi, John. It's nice to have you with us today.
Hi, Jenny. It's good to be here.
Can you briefly explain what karma is and how it affects us?
Yes. I guess the young people have one of the simplest, straightforward explanations. They simply say what goes around comes around. And that is karma. But in the bigger picture, it's actually we might call it a universal law of cause and effect. That as one expresses, as one uses their free will to do things, but not only externally, but in their own minds, in their own hearts, as one thinks, as one feels, they create a reaction to that. And that's that flow back to you. So you experience what you express. So karma is this force that reacts to your use of free will, both in thought, in feeling, in action, in words. It reacts. But there's another aspect to it that is really important to keep in mind. It creates patterns. It creates habits. And then these become hard to break, hard to change. As a soul keeps acting or thinking in a certain way, it builds up a habit pattern. And then in one incarnation it says to itself, why do I always have trouble with money? Or why do I always choose the wrong men or women? Or why does this always seem to happen to me and not to my sister or my brother? These are the soul patterns, the mental patterns that have been developed, and until you can break out of that wheel, that cycle of repetitive reaction and action, you are caught in this sort of pattern and you have to work at it to get out of it. So karma is both a simple law of what you dish out comes back to you. But it's also a bigger thing that the more you do it a certain way, the more you build repetitive reactions. And you start to attract those over and over.
What is grace, and how does that overcome the powerful influence of karma in our lives?
There are two aspects to grace that affect us and overcome our karma. The first one is the love of our Creator for us. People often overlook this. But the very force that brought us into existence brought us in out of a motivation of love. And therefore it cares for us. And if we are engaged in understanding life and applying ourselves, this force always looks for an opportunity to help us. And that is called the grace of God. The other type of grace comes when you are practicing what we call the fruits of the Spirit. Then they actually give you a little space, a little time in which the law of action-reaction is suspended while you try, while you attempt to change, while you attempt to become a better person. You get a break, and that is the grace of you engaging yourself to improve. And there's sort of this, it's not that you're not going to meet the karma eventually, but at this time it's suspended because you're attempting to learn. And so that's another form of grace that comes upon us.
You mentioned the fruits of the Spirit. Can you tell us more about these and how they affect us?
Yeah. The fruits of the Spirit are throughout the Bible and other disciplines, but Paul writes most directly to them and actually lists them. And the secret to them is inside the fruit is the seed of the Spirit. So as you assimilate the fruit into your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your words, you actually give life to the Spirit and it grows within you. And since it's the Spirit of God, the presence of God grows within you more. So that's the magic of the fruit. As you apply yourself to using the fruits of the Spirit, which are often listed as love, kindness, patience, faithfulness, humility, meekness. You actually assimilate those into your system, and they are the qualities of the Spirit of God, and you become more in that Spirit.
In your book, you also write about gifts of the Spirit. Could you touch on these a bit and tell us how they differ from fruits of the Spirit?
Yeah. See, the fruits of the Spirit actually generate the awakening of the Spirit within you. And once the Spirit awakens, you have this fortunate benefit of receiving the gifts of the Spirit. And they're normally listed as wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and a sense of better counsel. When someone asks you a question, your response doesn't come so much from your ego as it does from the essence of the Spirit that you've been applying in your life. So usually your counsel is wiser, better. And then the last gift is fear of the Lord, which everybody freaks out over and is nervous about. But really the phrase is meant to say that you have come to know the power of the forces of the cosmos, the forces of nature, and rather than kick against them or struggle against them, you synchronize yourself into the harmony, and you seek to know the flow of this life force, of God's flow, of nature's flow. And when you seek that, you actually synchronize yourself with it, then you're in harmony with the cosmos. So fear of the Lord is a gift in the sense that you've become aware that there are bigger forces than you, and if you can sense where they're going, your life will be more harmonious, happier, and you won't feel like you're struggling up against these invisible forces that you're not aware of, because now you've become aware of them and you're concerned about them, and you try to apply yourself to synchronize and cooperate better.
Of all the concepts in your book, what has meant the most to you in your life?
Wow. I would say that the fruit of love. I didn't realize when I first started the book that we were talking about a higher love. So I came to it with a human sense of love, but the more I studied, the more I became aware of higher qualities of love and the type of love that the original thinkers were talking about. And it was amazing. The more I applied that fruit in my life, my relationships changed. My perspective of other people changed. I felt happier, more relaxed. So somehow there's a real power in living your life each day in a sort of higher love. It changes everything. It makes life more enjoyable. Even when things are hard, there's a certain relaxed faithfulness that keeps you going through it because the Spirit of love is with you and you're trying to apply that in your life. So that was the one that I was most surprised by and has had the best effect on me.
John, thank you so much for being with us today. That was very interesting.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
From Karma to Grace is published by A.R.E. Press and available at arecatalog.com.